Hello and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News on this Monday, November 17th. I'm Grant Olson. Here's some of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. A 16-year-old suspect from Bridgeport has been charged and is an adult in last Wednesday's killing of an East Wenatchee man on Highway 97 north of Orondo. Karen Welch, the retiring Chelan County Fairgrounds and Expo Center director, was honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award by the Washington State Fairs Association last month. Our shower activity will end tonight with pretty quiet weather expected for the rest of the week. Your full local weather forecast is coming up. Police say a four-county narcotics investigation titled Operation Eastbound and Down netted 4 arrests and a large quantity of fentanyl, methamphetamine, and other drugs in 3 cities, including their alleged chief suppliers based in Bridgeport. The sheriff's offices of King County and Douglas County cooperated in the project, which included a November 10th raid in the Bridgeport area. They say one regional supplier and an accomplice in Bridgeport were receiving more than 100 pounds of narcotics every few weeks and then parceling it out to local dealers across King, Pierce, and Snohomish counties. King County detectives say the operation had ties to the Sinaloa criminal cartel in Mexico. Search warrants served in Bridgeport, Linwood, and Kirkland allegedly recovered more than 70 pounds of methamphetamine, 16 pounds of powdered fentanyl, nearly 7 pounds of heroin, and 1.5 pounds of cocaine, plus almost $84,000 in cash suspected to be proceeds from drug sales. A King County Sheriff's canine named Quinn was involved in those searches. NCWLIFE News reached out to the Sheriff's Department and the King County Prosecutor's Office, who said the arrested subjects had not yet been charged as of this morning. A 16-year-old suspect from Bridgeport has been charged as an adult in last Wednesday's killing of an East Wenatchee man on Highway 97 north of Orondo. Sheriff's detectives say Juan Valavidino Sanchez fatally shot 68-year-old Adnan Abu Amo while he sat in his vehicle on the shoulder of the road. Valavidinos is believed to have arranged a meeting with Abu Amo, an East Wenatchee transit director and a broker in precious metals, in order to buy gold from him. Witnesses found Abu Amo dead in his Prius from multiple gunshot wounds. Police arrested Valdovinas 1 day later. Douglas County prosecutors filed charges today of second-degree murder and first-degree assault. Cases of murder involving teen defendants can be automatically charged in Superior Court rather than in the juvenile system. Valdovinos is due to be arraigned on Thursday. A GoFundMe has been established to help Abu Amo's family with expenses related to his death. You can contribute to that fund using the QR code you see on your screen. The Cascade School District says lead has been detected in several drinking water outlets at different school buildings. According to an email sent to parents, the lead detection came after state-mandated testing required in all K-12 public schools built or with all plumbing replaced before 2016. Lead was detected in both drinking fountains in the district office and HomeLink building and in 9 outlets at Icicle River Middle School. 4 sinks have been shut off and 5 water outlets are now labeled hand washing only. The district said it's working with the Washington Department of Health and Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction to develop an action plan which will outline fixture replacements, installation of approved filters, and post-remediation follow-up. Washington Fish and Wildlife commissioners on Saturday turned down a request from Colorado to transplant up to 15 gray wolves to bolster that state's wild population. The vote was 8-1. Colorado plans to release wolves into the Rocky Mountains for the 3rd year this winter, but the Trump administration denied its request to use wolves from British Columbia, saying they must be translocated from within the U.S. Washington's commissioners say they can't spare any wolves until they're no longer considered an endangered species locally. Colorado has released 25 wolves so far, but its request for translocations from other states has already been turned down by Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana. When we come back, an 80-acre forest thinning project on Chelan Douglas Land Trust property ended this weekend with a series of controlled burns. And the Wellness Place announced today that it will join global nonprofit Cancer Support Communities Network and become CSC Central Washington starting on January 1st. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Birthdays, office gatherings, and team parties taste better at Abby's. From our legendary lunch and Thirsty Thursday to our monthly Giant Special, there's always a reason to gather. Family-owned Abby's, your legendary pizza tradition. You asked, and it's back at Abby's. 2 legends, 1 pizza. Half pepperoni, half big Hawaiian. All delicious. It's mouthwatering, loaded with toppings, and happily feeds a family. Order at abbys.com before this legend disappears.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Call Alpine Air Heating and Cooling today. Your comfort is their priority.
Central Washington Water understands the power of healing waters. If part of your wellness routine includes hot heat from a sauna, Central Washington Water now carries indoor and outdoor infrared and hot rock saunas by Tilo. Research shows there are many health benefits to a cold plunge after a good workout or relaxing time in your sauna. Harness the power of water in a hot spring spa, plug-and-play spas, a Tilo sauna, or a cold plunge tub. Stop by Central Washington Water, your wellness experts.
An 80-acre forest thinning project on Chelan Douglas Land Trust property ended this weekend with a series of controlled burns. Volunteers and land managers thinned trees and brush on the Mountain Home Preserve above Leavenworth. The logged timber was collected into 8 acres worth of burn piles, which were set on fire in controlled circumstances throughout last week. The project culminated with a community burn pile workshop on Saturday, with members of the public invited to participate. Organizers say the project helps strengthen the land against wildfires while educating residents about the management practices involved. Karen Welch, the retiring Chelan County Fairgrounds and Expo Center director, was honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award by the Washington State Fairs Association last month. Welch has been in her position for 14 years after approaching a Chelan County commissioner with her ideas of how to improve the 26 acres of fairgrounds. Since then, she's improved facilities, attracted new events and organizations to the venue, and created new revenue streams for the county department. Welch's nomination for the Lifetime Achievement called her dedication for the Fair and Expo Center, quote, truly inspiring, and said, quote, she puts her heart and soul into everything she does. Welch received the award during an association conference in Wenatchee. She plans to retire in April. The Wellness Place announced today that it will join global nonprofit Cancer Support Communities Network and become CSC Central Washington on January 1st. The Wellness Place has operated for over 2 decades and offered free cancer support to individuals in Chelan, Douglas, Grant, and Okanagan counties. As CSC Central Washington, the center will allow local residents to access education, support, social connections, and research-driven resources, all available either in person, online, or over the phone at no cost. Coming up next in tonight's feature story, we will visit with Wenatchee Valley broadcast legend Dave Harold on his 50 years in radio. Slick driving conditions possible for some mountain passes tonight and into Friday morning. I'll have all your weather details coming up, followed by Dan Kuntz with a look at all the day's sports action as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues after these messages.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no-cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
When flooding hit Serve Wenatchee, their office and Fresh Hope Market were devastated. But their mission to help prevent homelessness in this valley hasn't stopped, and neither will we. I'm Todd McLaughlin, General Manager at Apple Valley Honda. Now through the end of the year, we're donating $25 to Serve Wenatchee every time someone takes a test drive. And if you happen to buy a vehicle, we'll give an additional $100 in your name. Because when our neighbors are in need, this community steps up, and we're proud to be part of that.
Well, all legends have to be born sometime. Wenatchee Valley radio legend Dave Harold started his career as a gentle voice of AM and FM radio in 1976, and now he's marking 50 years on the airwaves. Harold is the general manager and morning show host of Sunny FM after putting in countless hours on radio stations around Wenatchee, the Tri-Cities, and Bellevue. In tonight's feature story, he spoke with Josie Meets from our media partner, the Wenatchee World, about the highlights of his long career.
So you're celebrating 50 years on the air. When you hear that number, what comes to mind? Is it reflection? Is it celebration?
Well, you know, I really haven't kept track of the years. It's just sort of been a fun experience and a good journey. And of course, 50 years ago, lots of things were a little bit different. There weren't any box stores, and they weren't a whole lot of things in the Wenatchee Valley. 3 radio stations, actually, and 1 FM station about 50 years ago in 1976. So things have changed, but the broadcast world has changed, and a lot of things have taken place in those years.
Could you take me back to 1976? Who was young Dave? Like starting out, what was that experience like?
Well, I actually pulled in 1976 on Mission Street, and in fact, running right in front of the existing Sunny FM studios, and pulled up my Cordoba. I just bought a Cordoba, which wasn't a wise decision since we were in the energy crisis. And I stopped at the 2nd and Mission at the stoplight, and this lady came up to me and said, "You're not from around here, are you new?" And I went, "Yeah." And, "Oh, well, welcome to Wenatchee," and threw a $5 bill in my car, and the light went green, she took off. And I said, "Hey, this is going to be a great town." So that's how it all began. But actually, I was hired by Jim Corcoran and Carl Tyler. And Jim Corcoran had a station, and Carl Tyler in Walla Walla called K-Head XT97. And they hired me from a station in Tri-Cities called KALA, where I was the top 40 jock and a sales guy. So we started our journey in broadcasting by basically Jim Corcoran and Carl Tyler purchased the old KMEL radio station, AM 1340, and then changed it into KWWW, and the journey began.
What was it about radio that said, like, this is where I belong? What was that moment, I guess?
Well, I sort of got the radio bug at a young age. In fact, when I was about 9 years old, before you were born, of course, we had these little crystal radios that looked like little rockets, and you could tune them. And you could tune them into frequencies, and you get skip, which means you get radio stations in San Francisco and outside stations. Of course, you get stations in the Seattle metropolitan area where I grew up. But my father would keep pounding on the, on my bedroom door saying, "You're not listening to that damn radio station, are you?" And I said, "Oh, no, I'm not doing that." So I've just sort of infatuated with it. And then I got to go into a station called KFKF in Bellevue Square and met a guy named Dick Curtis, who eventually worked as a news director at Como AM 1000 in Seattle. He invited me in and let me read the weather in the studio, and ever since I catch the bug. So I've always had a passion for it.
Radio has changed a lot over the years, from transistor radios to streaming services, but what has stayed constant for you?
I guess what's really stayed constant for me is the importance of community and reaching out, to clients, but to keep listeners intact and informed on what was happening in the valley. And we're sort of the communication and the resource. So we felt that we had a responsibility, whether Mount St. Helens was blowing up or whatever it was, or the latest music or the latest hit. Our job was to entertain, keep entertaining and hopefully make people's day and get up and have a great day and keep them motivated and keep the valley positive.
Time now to take a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. And before we go forward, let's go back a little bit to Saturday. And wasn't that a gorgeous day here in the Wenatchee Valley? We topped off at 61 degrees Saturday afternoon. It was beautiful yesterday as well. And then this for our Monday, a lot of low-hanging clouds out there, misty rain throughout the day. And then around 3 to 3:30, a little bit heavier rainfall, but still not heavy by any means. But it was just one of those days as we look down at the Wenatchee Valley outside our weather window from our Wenatchee Heights tower camera, and you can see all those low-hanging clouds out there. And as we make our way into tonight and tomorrow, they're not just all clouds. We do have some snow in those clouds. Washington Pass near Winthrop could see about 2 to 3 inches of rain tonight and into our overnight. And here a little closer to home, Stevens Pass, 1 to 2 inches of snow, and that could create some slick driving conditions over those mountain passes as our temperatures cool, especially in the upper elevations down to near freezing. So be very careful if you're traveling west overnight tonight. And here's a look at our 8 to 14 weather outlook. And I'll tell you what, as far as temperatures go, we will be below normal throughout Washington State as we get you into Thanksgiving. And I'll tell you folks, it's really going to cool down as we get into next week. And as far as precipitation goes, just slightly above normal throughout most of the western U.S., and that includes us. And look at that, western Washington near normal, with us just a little bit above normal. But the big news is we are going to really cool down, not this week, but as we get into next week. Today's high temperature, once again above normal, unofficially 51 degrees. That's 8 degrees above where we should be at 43. Our record high, 58, and that was set back in 2015. Look at this low this morning, 48, 18 degrees above where we should be for this time of year. And yeah, we warmed up all of 3 degrees throughout the day today. 14, our record low, and that record has stood a long time, going all the way back to 1959. Sunrise 7:09, and the sun set this afternoon at 4:22. All right, taking a look at temperatures for your Tuesday, we're going to cool down just a little bit. In fact, a lot of 40s now through the rest of the week. In fact, 49s all over our map tomorrow. Throughout the Columbia Basin, Wenatchee, we will see 49, and that goes for Eniat, Chelan, and Omak as well. 48s then tomorrow for Leavenworth and for Kashmir, but we will dry out somewhat as we get you into Tuesday. Tonight, cloudy skies. Here's our weather maker moving across southern Alberta, or southern British Columbia, moving into Alberta. Still maybe just some scattered showers tonight. Most of that will be up around Omak into the Washington Pass area. area. Low temperatures mid to upper 30s. For your Tuesday, that low pressure slides into western Montana, and that means a ridge of high pressure now building over the Pacific Northwest. We'll see a dry day tomorrow with high temperatures above normal near 50 degrees. For your midweek Wednesday, we're not going to change a whole lot until we get into the upcoming weekend. Lots of sunshine for our Wednesday forecast, but our airflow coming down along that area of low pressure, that'll cool us down a little bit. Mid to upper 40s is all for high temperatures on Wednesday. For your Thursday, back to that sunshine and that inverted ridge from the Pacific. We will see seasonal temperatures, actually a little above seasonal with high temperatures in the upper 40s for Thursday. And then as we get into Friday, this is where things begin to change a little bit. Even though we will see partly cloudy skies throughout our day on Friday, big area of low pressure set to move in on Saturday. High temperatures late in the day Friday into those upper 40s. And then as we get you into the upcoming weekend, here's that very strong westerly flow of moisture. It's going to bring clouds our way, a little tiny cold front as well. We'll see a 40% chance of rain showers, maybe even heavy up in the Cascades. High temperatures in the upper 40s. And then by the end of our forecast on Sunday, back to the partly cloudy skies, high pressure in western Washington. Once again, temperatures seasonally warm with readings Sunday afternoon into those upper 40s. All right, time now to take a look at your 7-day forecast, and it's brought to you by Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, where comfort, care, and community come together. Tonight's overnight low, a little cooler than we've seen, 37 for us, 49 and dry tomorrow. Look at that low, 34 Tuesday night, getting you into Wednesday. Wednesday and Thursday, mostly sunny skies, even though we'll cool back mid to upper 40s Wednesday, upper 40s for Thursday. Not bad for Friday either, with high temperatures near 50, and then a rainy day expected possibly for Saturday and 49, with partly cloudies expected by Sunday. High temperature then 48 degrees. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Dan Kuntz and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCWLIFE. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
Happy Monday, everybody. Eric Gresham is off this week. Happy vacation, Eric. We'll see him next Monday. Sam Darnold probably wished yesterday it didn't happen. 4 interceptions. Of course, the Seahawks didn't even score a touchdown until the waning minutes of the game. And when that happens, you normally lose. And the Seahawks did. The Rams beat them in Inglewood, 21-19. Jason Myers kicked 4 field goals. Didn't get that fifth. The 61-yard attempt as time expired came up short and to the right. So the Rams have now won 5 in a row. The Seahawks' 4-game winning streak has come to an end. Seattle's first loss away from home in 10 games. Last time they lost on the road was September of last year. The Hawks will travel to Nashville on Sunday morning to take on the Titans. As far as the rest of the division is concerned, not much. Only 4 teams, and they all played each other. As you see, the 49ers knocked off the Cardinals 41-22. In case you missed it over the weekend, Huskies blew out the Boilermakers at Husky Stadium 49-13. Wasn't even that close. Cougars, nice victory over Louisiana Tech, 28-3. Eastern knocks off Northern Colorado, and congratulations to Central Wildcats. Moving on to the playoffs. In fact, here's your schedule for this week. They're all on Saturday. We don't know when Central plays. We know who they play. They're going to take on Western Colorado on Saturday. When they get that kickoff locked in, we'll let you know. Wild played 3 games over the weekend at Portland Friday, at Portland yesterday. Didn't win either one of those, but they sandwiched in an overtime victory on Saturday. They knocked off Prince George. The Wild had 6 forwards that weren't able to play on Friday, either because of injuries or illness. It showed. They lost to Portland 6-3, but Saturday night at the Town Toyota Center, although Prince Albert scored twice in the 3rd period to force overtime, the Wild scored the game winner in the extra period.
Pass stolen. Devin Pelchier had it bounced right back to him with Nolan Caffey. 3 of the 4 newcomers on the same line. Caffey in front, back door, and a fantastic save, somehow keeping it out. Drop this one off right point. Finds a willing partner in Josh Toll. Top of the face-off circle, back up top for Toll. Curls it past Vanek with a wrist shot, he scores! Building this Wild team, one player at a time. 6:15 left in the first period. Wenatchee up 1-0. Slid in front of the net, popped up and in, they score! It's Sherpina on the backside of the crease. Stolen again, can the Wild shuffleboard it out? Not this time. Left wing Brock Cripps driving to the net from the left. Dot in front, he scores a forehand chance. And an extra pull to the right side. He got Tversnik to commit, and he gave it that little double clutch. Finds Chapush right point, looking for a tip in front. It's not in. Where is it? Now it's in the net. McCagerty! In the trapezoid. Pass left wing. At the red line, at the blue line. Sivertson with a forehand chance. Pinballed in front and right to Evan Smith, who punches it home and scores, and it's a 3-2 game. That bounce went through the slot and right to Evan Smith. As trying to get back on his feet is Smith. Waiting, man sends it across, wrist shot, they score, right dot. Lyndon Burritt has tied it, it's 3-3. Fakes right, goes left, doesn't have an angle, shoved into the boards by Jodary, and here come the Wild, 2-on-1. Jodary looking for a pass, looking for a shot, it's in, they score! Drive home safely! You drive home, we're headed to Portland!
Wild are at Kamloops on Saturday. Their next home game isn't until Thanksgiving Eve, a week from Wednesday. All right, congratulations to the Chelan Goats, 6th consecutive State 1A Girls Volleyball Championship. May have been 7 if they had played during COVID. Way to go, Chelan. Now, Kashmir in the semis gave Chelan a big-time scare. They went all the way to 5 sets before the Goats beat the Bulldogs. By the way, congratulations to Kashmir. Their 3rd place finish for the Bulldogs is their best in school history. But again, Chelan, the story, their 6th consecutive State 1A championship. Congratulations to the Lady Goats. Now the big schools get to get going. The 4A tournament and the 3A tournament is this weekend, this Friday and Saturday, again at the Yakima Sundome. The Wenatchee Panthers finished 3rd last year. They won state 2 years ago. Their quest for a trophy begins on Friday morning at 11:45 against Kamiak. All right, state soccer from over the weekend. Take a look to see how your team did. If you're follow a team from our area, they didn't do too good. Brewster was eliminated by Northwest Christian. Kashmir was shut out by Montesano. All right, state 4A football. Congratulations to Moses Lake. They survived. It was a close one. Bothell missed a last-second field goal. Moses Lake moves on to the quarterfinals by beating Bothell in Moses Lake. The final there was 17-14. 2A football. Ording over Prosser, East Valley over Burlington Edison. Seaholm knocked off Othello. So for the Huskies, their season comes to an end. State 1A football, of course, the top 4 teams in the 1A, including Royal and Kashmir, don't have to play. Didn't have to play anyway. OMAC did. They moved on. They beat Rochester. And Royal and Kashmir right now are on a collision course for the State 1A championship. We shall see. They got to get there first. We'll give the whole schedule in just a little bit. 2B football, your results from over the weekend. There it is. Okanagan knocked off Reardon. Liberty Bell stays alive. They beat Onalaska in State 2B football and the 8-man football, 1B football. Antioch season comes to an end, and Wahkiakum knocked off Moses Lake Christian. So your schedule, some of these on Saturday, most on Saturday actually. In the 4A division, Moses Lake travels to Lake Stevens Saturday, 4 o'clock kickoff. Leave-off to field of the Apple Bowl Saturday at 2 o'clock. Life Christian will take on Kashmir in the 1A quarterfinals. In the 1A quarterfinals, OMAC travels to Mount Baker. The place, we know, Mount Baker. The day and the time, we don't know. Friday night, Freeman will host Okanagan in the 2B quarterfinals. Also, Liberty Bell in the 2B quarterfinals travels down to the Tri-Cities to take on Tri-Cities Prep. The date and time haven't been decided yet. Lions Field will be the site for Amara Cooley Heartline, hoping to punch their ticket to the semis. That'll be 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. And those are just some of the games that people are playing.
And that will do it for this Monday edition of the NCWLIFE Evening News. Remember, if you see news happening, let us know. Email your news tips to news@ncwlife.com or just give us a call at 888-6295. Our channel is also available on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us and have a great night.